This is a overview of an illustration from Americo on their instant decision IULs. It's a 35-year-old male, $250,000 death benefit, non-nicotine. It's $112 a month. It's doing an index strategy of a participation rate of the S&P 500 1 year point to point at 100% participation. It gives you a product highlight on page 3 here, showing you how they are taking care of the living benefits, the cash accumulation. This is a permanent policy, never to expire, comes with living benefits and builds cash value in a savings account. Product descriptions on how the cash accumulation, the surrender values, etc. Basically, I'll get into what the living benefits here are on page 5. Page 5 goes over your critical, chronic, and terminal illnesses. Basically, on the critical illness, if you happen to experience anything such as cancer, heart attack, stroke, organ failure, then you can tap into this living benefits. That means you can access to the death benefit of a $250,000. Usually it's up to about 80% with Americo. Chronic illness means that if you lose the ability to do your normal daily living attributes like eating, bathing, toileting, transferring from bed to couch, dressing yourself, stuff like that, then you can pull from it. You got to have 2 out of 6 of those attributes to be able to qualify for the $250,000 death benefit in that case over a 90-day period. Terminal illness, if you're expecting to pass away in the next 12 months with this policy in place, you can tap into the death benefit as well. Those are all your critical, chronic, and terminal illness overviews for this policy. The policy has a point to point. Basically, that means that in the 1 year participation rate for this method, they're going to look at a snapshot of the particular policy's year and decide if the market performed or did not perform. It has a floor of 0, meaning that you'll never lose money in this policy. You only participate in the gains. These are going to be compounding interest rates added to the cash accumulation of the policy. In order to kind of explain that very simply, what that means is that basically each month you put your money towards the policy. They put that money into a savings account. That savings account grows compounding interest based off of the market's performance, the S&P 500, in each given year. So you can get about an average of 8.5%, which I'll show you here in the latter part of this illustration. You do have another option here of a point-to-point with a cap. That's not a bad choice either. In my opinion, I think you get better returns with the participation rate. You have larger gains. This one here gives you some guarantee. You can also put it into a different account that guarantees you a 3% interest rate. So you have a few different ways that you can move your money around within the savings portion of this policy. These are your interest rates, basically showing you your maximum illustrated rate, average crediting rate, highest, and then your lowest is probably what the predictions would be from highest to lowest to midpoint. But that should be on an average what it's going to set at. Here's an idea of what you would see in the previous 20 years of the market and what that looked like for you when it comes to a participation rate of 100% versus a cap rate. It kind of goes over, shows you you're going to see a cap of 15% here. All right. But you're going to get a higher percentage of growth on the low side with this one overall. So pretty nice in a way to be able to guarantee that you get that participation rate of 3% or better usually. Still a floor of 0. This one over here is going to show you a floor of 0 too as well. But if you notice, all the large accumulations like 20% here, 24%, those are huge. Those will grow your money nicely. This shows you basically the signature sheet to know that this is a non-guaranteed cash accumulating policy on the accumulation side that's tied to the index of the stock market. So anytime we get into something that's tied to the stock market, you got to be aware of that. So they just want you to sign off on the fact that you are having that kind of participation and they're not responsible for loss or gain. Even though you have a floor of 0, as guaranteed right here. They guarantee you that you'll never lose money in this illustration or this policy. So you have the safety of never losing money, only gaining. They show you a couple different, the low point of 4.225, 8.45 on an average. Further down here on page 9, this shows you your non-guaranteed on how it works and what it will do for you. You get your death benefit, $250,000. If you look here, this is 6.25% and 8.45%. Shows you your policy years going forwards, how many years of age you would be at any given year. 20 years later, this gentleman would be 55. Showing on how that looks like on the cash accumulation side for an average of 8.45%. This client would show about $24,000 accumulated in the cash value. He could go ahead and surrender this policy for 25,000 or 24,000 at that given time if he wanted to. It would be kind of or not a good idea in my opinion, because I mean the living benefits alone that he could tap into are much greater at that point. As you see later on, with a low interest rate of growth, how it fizzles out at age 79 or 80, which is highly unlikely. If you look here, the policy is very healthy at 8.45. Going on into the years, it shows you the accumulation starts getting rather large in the savings account of 176,000, growing continuously over the years, which will actually even outpace the death benefit eventually if you live that long. As we move on down into this section here, it goes over the definitions of different things such as your death benefit, cap rate, etc. And then when we drop down to the last page here, it shows you your total max amount of money you can put into it of $15,000 in a given year. So this is sometimes referred to as a flexible premium policy, meaning that you can put more money than the suggested premium of $112 a month into the policy in order to speed up your rate of accumulation in the cash savings account. This concludes an illustration of an instant decision IUL for Americo.